Okay, next tutorial. This time I'm dressed up as a character from the TV series Face Off. And if you've never seen the show Face Off, why haven't you? Where have you been? I mean, the show's amazing. So now, if you don't know what Face Off is, it's basically a special effects contest where each week the contestants have to make up a prosthetic, full prosthetic and costumed makeup based on a specific theme. This time I've recreated a character from the second series of Face Off, I believe, from the 8th episode, which is Burtonesque. Now, the reason I've chosen this particular episode is just because, I mean, Season 2, in my opinion, is one of my most favourite ones. I mean, that and Series 1. But they've always do phenomenal work, but in this particular series, I mean, this makeup, I just always stood out for me, and I just thought it was a really fun one. And that and the cello makeup, both amazing. So in this episode, they were asked to create a character that was inspired by Tim Burton, based on, I think, one of 8 categories. And this one was done by the makeup artist Matt in the series, and he designed this character based off the theme Ice Cream Man. And I just really fell in love with the design, so I thought I would recreate it as close to the original as I possibly can, using my own methods and techniques and colours and such. But yeah, he really did do a stunning makeup, so I hope I did it justice, because it is a cool makeup design. And I will address one thing that a lot of people have been asking, since I started my YouTube channel, which is, why haven't I ever been on Face Off, or am I planning to go on the series Face Off? Now, there's a couple of reasons why I haven't been on the series, and that I might not be on it. Well, depends. One is, I just don't think I'm anywhere near good enough, because I mean, the contestants they've always had in the series are they do phenomenal work. They're just stunning, and I think my work would pale in comparison, really. So yeah, I'll keep trying and keep perfecting things, but as it is now, it's a big confidence issue. The second thing is, I think you have to live in the States to actually participate, and I have been contacted to be on the show before, but it was a mixture of the confidence issue and the fact that I don't live over there. So yeah, I mean, it's not to say I won't in the future, you know, and you never know. I would love to be on it eventually if I got better at doing this. But yeah, for now, I'm just going to keep doing fluffy makeup for you guys. So yeah, it's on my bucket list to do. You never know, one day. So yeah, if you'd like to learn how to recreate this makeup, keep on watching. So to get things started, I'm going to block out both of my eyebrows, so I'll pop a link on the screen here to the video where I teach you guys how to block them out, just so I don't have to recap it in this video, because it makes the video unnecessarily long. So I'm going to block out my eyebrows, and we'll go from there. So then, I'm going to take my good friend liquid latex and a sponge, and I'm going to go over my forehead, over my eyebrows, and down a little bit down my nose, just for about 6 layers, just so I can start building it up, and then I'm going to work on adding some tissue, just to really angry my brow up. Then, before the last layer dries, I can take some regular tissue paper that I've already separated, so I've got thinner strips. Working with tiny strips of tissue, I can then press that down in the centre and then cover that in more latex. So I'm going to work in a V shape, and in between layers, just before it dries, I can use my thumbs just to really push down the brows, just to really make a strong furrow, just so it slightly overlaps over the eyes in the corners here. So do that for another 7 coats with the tissue. Try not to make the edges too thick, like 3 or 4 layers in the middle, then 2, then 1, just so it tapers off. And when it's fully dry, we'll see what we've got. So there we go, nice and angry. So for the chin, he's got a very pointy looking chin, so I've made a just really quick prosthetic. So I sculpted a pointy chin, then covered it in about 6 coats of liquid latex and a couple layers of tissue. Just really, I mean, it doesn't need to be anything particularly special, like I could have made it out of gelatin, but it's only a generic pointy chin, so I don't want it to be too heavy, so yeah. So I'll pop a link on the screen here to how I sculpt my prosthetics. Just, you don't have to do the moulding phase unless you want to make it out of gelatin, but it's not overly necessary, especially since the edges don't need to be perfectly blended, because there's a lot of hundreds of thousands like candy covering this area, so you don't have to be fairly strict with the edges, so yeah, don't worry too much about that. So yes, I'm just going to stick that down with some spirit gum and then blend the edge with a couple layers of liquid latex. Okay, so as that's drying, I'm going to take a M.A.C Chromacake, which is basically a watercolour, and I'm going to use that to paint on my face, my neck and my ears. This is just their basic white colour. Then I'm going to take a Grimas brown cream. This is in 1001. I'm just going to use that in a medium but firm fluffy brush. I'm just going to use that to start smoking out my eyes. So it needs to blend out quite far, like quite outside of the socket, so it's quite messy. And it goes quite high up to emphasise the angry brow, so low down here and then really smoke it up out here. So there we are, just a really messy smoky eye. Then I'm going to take that same brown cream again, and I'm going to do just some harsh lines that I can shade out. So I'm going to do that around the nasolabial folds, some bags under the eyes, obviously some deep frown lines. Yeah, and a really strong jawline. But what I'll do is I'll trace it on in a time lapse and show you where I've gone so I can blend it afterwards. So there we go, so these are the lines I've gone for. So I've gone for a really harsh brow, which this really seems to have from the contest. So that's what I'm going to go for. So I've got the temples, the really masculine cheeks, the nasolabial folds down the side of the nose, and the brow furrows, and of course, little point for the chin. So then I'm going to take a new clean brush, make it slightly damp, really not wet at all, just only a little bit damp, and I can start manipulating this colour in one direction. So all of this shading here needs to be pretty much downwards, leaving the opposite side completely clear of colour, just so it's a really harsh gradient here and a really light gradient going down. Just makes the cheekbones stand out more. Same with the temples, this colour needs to go completely out, then nasolabial folds need to go completely out, the sides of the nose outwards. Yeah, you get the idea. So the side that has the really harsh gradient needs to be the area that's more prominent. So all of this shading here needs to go upwards. Then I'm going to mix together some 3rd degree, which is basically silicone. You've got part A and part B. I'm just going to mix 50-50 of each together, and I'm going to start dabbing it around the mouth. I just want to make a really rough texture, just then I can paint it brown and hopefully it will look like a chocolate splatter. Okay, so you can't really see it just yet, but when it dries, I'll colour it and you'll be able to see it better. I've just applied a tiny bit of latex on the bridge of my nose just to get a couple of seams that will bug me, so ignore that, that will dry and go clear. So whilst that's drying, I'm going to take some Spirit Gum, which is just like an adhesive for prosthetics and such, and I'm going to just apply that just where my eyebrows would be, and then I'm going to take some hundreds of thousands, which is like sugar strands like you put on cakes, and I'm going to use that to press over where my eyebrows are going to be. So, candy eyebrows. Yeah. So there we go, so I've got nice candy eyebrows. So then, now that the silicone's dry, I can take some brown Snazaroo watercolour and I'm just going to apply that directly over where the silicone is. So a little tiny bit on the top lip and lots on the bottom lip. So the idea is to make it look messy. Okay, so super messy, but I've also spiked it up a little bit, just still messy, but I've had it curve up. It draws the eyes to it and it makes it look like a smile involuntarily, so yeah. So then I'm going to take the Spirit Gum again and just apply a tiny bit over where I've gone with the brown, and then take some more hundreds and thousands and just coat them on there. So you might want to do what I've not done, which is either go outside or have like a tarp down so that it will catch them all. I'm just going to have fun vacuuming. Yeah. How I suffer for my art. So then, quite literally, the cherry on top, a cherry for on top of my nose. Yeah. Now, this is a bit of a trial and error. I made 3 of these little guys. I made one which was too big, and then I made one which was just right, and then I painted them red, and then sprayed them with high gloss paint, which turns out this is a styrofoam ball. If you spray high gloss paint onto a styrofoam ball, it dissolves the ball. Who knew that? Nowadays. So yeah, so slightly different method. This is the third time lucky. I've got styrofoam ball, a little bit of cable tie that I've painted red already, and the idea is I'm going to stick this to my nose with Spirit Gum, then I'm going to paint this with red watercolour, so hopefully that will leave a gloss and it'll be red, and hopefully it won't dissolve the ball this time. Yeah. So I'm going to stick that down, and yeah, obviously, well, hopefully you can tell it's meant to be a little cherry, so it kind of makes the character like a clown really, doesn't it? So I'm just going to stick that to the tip of my nose. Then I'm going to take a number 30 wolf face paint, so basically bright red, and I'm going to use that to paint the cherry. So there we are, quite literally the cherry on top. Yeah, so then I can work on the hair. So I'm going to take some Spirit Gum, apply it just to my temples and just down the sides of my jaw, and I'm going to stick some white crepe hair so that it's outwards and down. It doesn't really matter about the top half because I've got a headpiece which I'll show you in a bit. So yeah, so I'm just going to take some white crepe hair and then just fluff it out. So I'm going to show you as I do it. I'm going to layer it in like a brick pattern, so 2 layers, then 1 in the middle, then 2 layers and 1 in the middle, just so it's really thick and there's no joint line. It needs to be staggered. Okay, so there we are. I'll style it a bit more towards the end, but now I'm just going to talk to you about my headpiece, which is this. So I just sculpted on a flat plate, just like these bumps and ridges, just like an ice cream cone, and I've just made it into a headpiece that I can pop on top like that, and then I can pin it down to my own hair, and then I can go around the edge with some 3rd degree and some brown watercolour and some sprinkles like I have here with Spirit Gum, all along the edge there. And then I can style the hair around it. And so I'm just going to take my top off, because I don't think I'll be able to take it off with this on, and then I can apply this to my hair and we can start colouring. And I'm naked, so sorry about that. Yeah. So there we go, and I just sprayed some black hairspray in there just to make it look a bit more messy. Yeah. So now I'm going to take the 3rd degree again and go right along the edge of my headpiece, and then I can do exactly the same again. Wait till it dries, cover it in the brown colour, and then put some Spirit Gum on it, and then put some sprinkles on it. Yeah. Okay, so all then that's left me to do is pop in my contacts, my costume, and I think I'm done. And there we go, so that's the look complete. So I finished the look off by popping in 2 contact lenses, which is one bright blue lens and one like fiery red and yellow lens, which I got from camowise.com. I've got the link in the description bar below. I popped on a costume which I've made myself, which is just a white shirt that I've like really messied up. So I've attached 2 ice cream cones onto it, and I've cut off one of them just so it's a bit more asymmetrical. I've hot glue gunned them onto it, and I used the same method with the 3rd degree, the brown face paint and the sprinkles with Spirit Gum, like I did on my face around here and in the middle. I finally got a bow tie, a red bow tie, which I've now ruined because I had to hot glue gun Smarties onto it just so I could get it as close to the original as possible. So yeah, I hope that's okay. And I popped on some black suspenders, and I've got some popsicle sticks. Yeah. Oh, and of course I've got the red and white striped gloves on, which I should have some white gloves on as well, but it's a bit difficult for me to move around here and be more dexterous with my keyboard and stuff, so I hope it's okay that I don't wear the gloves, but I've got these stripy ones on for now. And yeah, that's my look complete. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. I hope it's as close to the original as possible. I really tried to get it as like exact. And yeah, so thanks for watching, and if you like it, please make sure you know the usual, rate, comment, subscribe and all that jazz, and if you could share this video, it would really help me out and I'd super appreciate it. And yeah, so until next time, bye guys.